So hey guys, I'm here again working on the '06 Dodge Ram. Went ahead and started pulling the stock radio out. I want to make sure I'm soldering the right wires on the backside with the unit that I picked up. The unit I picked up lets you keep all your hand controls and everything on your factory steering wheel and whatnot. So I heard there's a couple, possibly two different wiring harnesses that come with that. One that fits this style radio and one that fits the one with navigation. So I just want to make sure before I go solder all this together that I'm getting the right one that plugs into the back of this. So I looked up several things online on how to pull this cover here off. So just so you guys know, and anybody doing this, this radio here, somebody's already had this out. You can see here, this tab here was broke, as well as that one on that side. They're both stuck in here on either side of the radio. So those were already broke off before I started pulling this apart, as well as this bottom clip right there. So there are two bolts that go up through the bottom that hold this in place. This one here was completely gone. It's not in there anymore. There's what that tab should have looked like. So that one's still on there, but it doesn't have the screw. This side was already broke. So yeah, I guess for anybody looking at this, there's a lot of videos online says that you can just basically pull it straight out. You can't. There are actually two, I think these are 8mm screws here on the bottom side that you really need to pull all this out, pull this down to get into those. Again, somebody's already had this one out previously, and this stuff was broke, knowing that going into it. So mine, there's really no need now to pull all that off. But anybody out there that's got a new one, these may not be broken yet. That's the actual correct process, is to pull these off, then pop all this out towards you. So again, thought I'd throw that in there. Really not that difficult. I did disconnect all my wires. So you got your wires here for your cigarette outlets or your 12 volt, your heated seats. That's the back electric window. This goes up to your AC heat unit along with this one. Your other heated seat on the driver's side, 4-wheel drive, and then your other 12 volt connector. So really not that bad. Just take those off, because I am going to have to probably trim this out a little bit for the head unit that I'm putting in, which I'll go over. What I'm going to do right now is actually pull this unit out, make sure I got the right wires. I'm going to take all that into the shop, solder everything up, have it all connected. Then I'll come back in here, rough place it, kind of see what I need to trim, and then trim all this up to make it all fit. So I'm going to go ahead and continue pulling this radio out. Again, it's just the 4 screws here on either corner. I've already pulled out 3 of them. So I'm gonna go ahead and pull out the last one, pull this unit out, go ahead and pull this piece out. I believe with the kit that I have, I'll get rid of that as well. So I'll cut back when I start soldering wires together. All right, guys, got the radio out. Kind of wanted to go over this real quick, what I was talking about, how there's 2 different cords that come, or connectors that come with this this unit. So here's the unit that I'm using. It is a PAC, let's see what the model number, I think is a CH1A RSX. So fits Chrysler, Dodge, and Jeep. There's several different models it fits, but basically you've got 2 wiring harnesses that come with this. One is for the unit that I have, stock unit, and the other one has the navigation options, which it's actually labeled, if I can get that to clear up, on the wiring, which I didn't realize. So but the other thing, you can definitely look at the difference in your plug on the ends here. Oops, put that up. And then when you basically come up here, you guys can see the stock in there. So basically we want to plug that in, make sure it's the one that fits. I don't believe we'll be using this wire at all anymore. I'm not sure what that goes to be honest. The way I understand it, it's just the stock. This harness here ties in. You wire these wires into the actual head unit that you're using. The one I'm using is a Kenwood, and then this end plugs into that unit, which I don't have out of the box here yet, but plugs into it, and you retain all your factory amp and steering wheel controls. The only other cable, oops, is the antenna one, which comes with a couple different styles. This is actually the one that will fit this radio's current antenna, so that'll plug in, and that plugs into the back of your unit. I guess if you guys, like I said, have questions, I'll do my best, but I'm gonna go ahead now and get these all soldered up, and I'll kind of show my process. I probably won't do all the wires, but probably do a couple and just kind of let you guys see how I do it. Again, I do solder the wires together, shrink wrap them. That way there's never any issues going forward. So I'll cut back here in just a little bit. All right, guys, back doing the wiring. So you guys can see, got all the speaker side of it hooked up. Over here's power. All the other wires, basically just follow your wire diagram. But what I'm using, these are actually crimp on, and then they have solder and shrink wrap on them. So basically shrink them, hold them up in front. You guys should be able to see the solder start to melt in the middle. And when it starts to melt, flip it over. And do the same thing. So, and that's what you end up with. So pretty easy. Not a whole lot to them. They make it really good. You can actually see where I crimped through. You can actually should be able to just pop that solder off. So cleans those up nice. But yeah, works really well. So I'll cut back here in a little bit, guys, when I get this back and plug it in and see what it does. All right, guys, so got the radio in. Went in pretty decent. Had a couple, or really only had one thing that I ran into. There was one wire. There's like 2 blue wires you attach on the wiring harness, and there's also blue and the white, which would typically be like your amp power. You actually have to tie that into the two blue, so it's like you got 3 wires going in together there. That's the only thing I didn't have. When I first got this hooked up, I didn't have sound. So called Crutchfield. They were awesome. Told me exactly what to do and worked perfect. So got the unit installed. Yeah, and I'm really happy with it. So I'll go ahead and shut the door here. Sorry about the glare, guys. I know the sun's shining on it here, so get it started. One thing I got to pull this back off. You guys can see my brackets aren't perfect. I need to pull it out just a little bit at the top, and I think when I do that, I think it'll close that gap up a little bit at the bottom there. If it don't, I may have to pull it out just a touch and drop it a little bit. But other than that, it fits really good. I need to tip it just a little bit. So radio comes up. I honestly have not played with this much. I do have a DVD in it. That's one of the kids is here. So, so you got your radio, your Sirius XM, which I don't have the tuner yet. So I do want to get that put in. I was really hoping I'd be able to use my factory XM, because I do have the XM, or did have XM on the factory radio, but I need to look into that a little more. If somebody knows if there's something I can hook up from the factory side of things to make the XM work, man, that'd be awesome. But anyway, we'll go back here. So you've got your radio, Bluetooth, all that good stuff. So we'll go ahead. I think it's maybe frozen, but the kids have it. Awesome. But screen quality again. Sorry guys, I know the sun's shining, but screen quality is pretty good. So
how I wish this could last.
We'll go back here to the radio. Radio stations all seem to work. The one thing I do need to work out is the sorry guys, I thought there was a mute button somewhere, but there's one thing I do need to do is figure out these hand controls. So when I pull it back off, I need to get the manual for the PAC system and figure out. I've only got volume. I did have the source button here in the middle that was working, and it's now not. And then on the other side for my tune and button, it's not working right now either. So got to figure that out, but that's not, I don't think anything too major. I need to read through the instructions because honestly, I kind of just hooked it up and went. So I need to pull it back off, go through the instructions, and see how that all works out. But overall, really decent radio, it seems like. So sounds good in the truck. Honestly, I feel like it probably sounds a little better than the stock one, which I know in the past I've had some issues with buying head units and you hook them up, especially using the factory crap amps and stuff where they don't sound good. So this one actually sounds good, considering. So it actually probably sounds, in my opinion, sounds better than the stock one. I do probably need to replace these speakers up on top, the low or the your high speakers, along with probably go ahead and do my back ones as well. I know I've done the 2 side ones. I got a video on that, but probably will go ahead and replace these uppers because on the high notes and stuff, it gets a little, oh yeah, just noise or whatever. It isn't real clear. So, but yeah, other than that, guys, you guys have questions on any of this, it's pretty straightforward. Follow directions. The wiring was pretty simple. Again, I like to use those solder crimps. They're clean, and you don't have to worry about them not making good contact. All right, hey guys, thought I was done with this, but once I got everything hooked up, was testing everything, one thing I ran into with my particular truck, again, this is a 2006 Dodge Ram. It does have the Infinity sound system with the amp and all that factory. So after calling Crutchfield and talking to one of their tech guys, kind of told him what was happening. Again, the guy was awesome and knew immediately what the issue was. So apparently on these trucks, the stock amplifier system is just a 2-channel instead of a 4. So where on your Kenwood you've got your 4 sets of speaker outputs, you don't have that on this particular truck. So the way that I was explained, and I haven't disconnected these and hooked up yet, but basically your gray here will go to this purple set, and this purple here will no longer be used, as well as the gray on this side won't be used. And then you go over here to your white and green, and it's the same thing. These white will go to this green on this side, and the Kenwood green and the factor or your truck side of it, white, won't be used. So and that should fix my issue. One thing I did try before I got this is I went through my like my fade and balance. So currently there's no front speakers working when you fade to front, I guess, if that makes sense. Everything's working, all the speakers are functioning right now, but when you fade it to the front, it just goes quiet. So by doing this and hooking this all up, I'm probably going to lose my front to back. I will just have left to right, which, hey, it's not that big a deal, but I didn't realize I didn't have it to begin with anyway right now. So I'm going to clip these, hook all this back up, and see how this works. But really kind of wanted to put that out there because, again, I didn't know it. I just went through like you typically would and hooked up all my wires by color and you know what they say they go to. So and ran into that. The other thing, and I don't know if I went over this in the previous video, but I didn't have sound when I first hooked this up. So your 3 blue wires here, there's 2 solid blues, and then there's the blue white, which would be your or your like your amp power or electric antenna, that type of thing. Those all hook together, which I think, the way I understand it, I think powers possibly the amp that's in the truck. So being why I didn't have sound, it wasn't coming on. So that's another one I had to call Crutchfield on. Again, awesome job. You know, I definitely highly recommend them. They were awesome this whole process. As far as any issues I've had, being able to call them, very knowledgeable. Even when this unit here was a refurbished Kenwood unit. So I think this unit was like $350, maybe something like that. And I actually picked this one up for $270 something. So again, it was refurbished. I couldn't get it online, but it said there was an option, so I called them. And yeah, I mean, they hooked me up, and here it is. So pretty good chunk of change. I mean, 50, 60 bucks, something like that's what I saved on this unit. So very, very happy with Crutchfield and what they've been able to do. So why I've got this open to the PAC unit here, the one that I'm using. Well, maybe I can't get it up out of there now. I shoved it through. Sorry guys, moving the camera around here. Yeah, it's hooked up, hung up on a wire down here. There we go. So this unit, some other things that kind of make sure you guys follow the directions on these as far as how to program them. So like mine's Kenwood, you set it to 3. That part's pretty straightforward. And then you've got your programming button over here. And so to program all this, turn the key on, hold the button down, wait 7 seconds, it's gonna flash, and then it should pick up all your stuff. If it doesn't, you can follow the directions. You press it again, you hit number 1, which is like volume up. Number 2, you hit it again, do your number 2 volume down. So currently I've got everything working except there was a button here that changes between, I guess it would, your presets. That's the only one I don't have working right now. And I don't even know if I'm going to mess with it because I really don't want to go through it all again. But wasn't that bad. Just if you guys are having issues, the instructions are kind of different, the way they word it and the placement on the actual instructions. So again, wasn't that bad, very doable. On my truck, I actually, when I put this all back in, I will pull it back out right down here out of that hole and set it down there so I can actually access it after I've got the radio, everything put in, just in case I have some issues. I can actually click that and mess with it without having to keep pulling the radio in and out. So again, I'll cut back here in a second when I get this thing all put back in. All right guys, got the radio installed, everything's finished up. Not real sure, I gotta do some editing, but if I repeat some of this, sorry. But again, the biggest thing, man, I definitely want to say thank you to Crutchfield. Their customer service was awesome. Highly recommend them. If anybody out there is looking for radio, anything for their help from their cars to their house, whatever, highly recommend checking them out and using them. The guy was, both guys that I spoke to on the phone, within a matter of seconds, they knew exactly what the issue was. And yeah, both of them fixed the problem really quick. So yeah, very happy with it. Again, they got a few things still left. I didn't get a backup camera. I want to do some more research before I get one. I'm thinking about one just above my tag. Not real sure yet if I'm going to go with that or put one in the tailgate. I would like one in the tailgate, but I've already bedlined my truck, and I really don't want to mess with taking some of that stuff off to get it in there. So we'll see. But got that. I also want to get the Sirius XM tuner. Again, if someone out there knows anything about being able to use the stock XM antenna and whatnot on this truck, I would really like to go that route instead of having to put another antenna. But if that's not an option, then I will be going with just the regular XM tuner and putting that and hooking all that up. So and then I would like to do something with this. It works, just not super clean. Kind of my plan is to find a way to put it here, pull this 12 volt out and put a USB plug-in piece here. I'm pretty sure somebody's got to make one, or make something I can put in there, or hell, I don't care, you can put it there as far as that goes, or in a center console, something like that. So still got that. Like to get cleaned up. But yeah, other than that, man, very happy with this radio. Does everything that I would like it to do. Plays DVDs, CD, got the XM options, the CarPlay. This one's not new enough to do the wireless CarPlay, but again, most of the time you're charging your phone, so it's not that big a deal. But yeah, really happy with it. The whole thing went in really clean. So if anybody's out there, don't be afraid to give this a shot. It's really not that bad. Save yourself some money. Yeah, pretty simple, pretty clean process. So yeah, if you guys have questions or anything, man, feel free to ask. I'll try to help you guys out. But yeah, can't say enough about Crutchfield, man. They were awesome. So thanks for watching the video. Love it if you guys hit that like button, subscribe, and stay tuned for more content. Thanks again.